speaking about Thursday, how did you guys end up getting together to like form and become, this is something we want to maybe put some music together?
Well, I started playing with, originally when we started a band, my first band, it was myself and Tom, who plays guitar on Thursday. But, we started this band, the straight edge hardcore band called Turnbuckle. And I was originally the singer and my friend Mike was the drummer. And quickly, first practice, I realized that I had no business singing or screaming, and he had no business playing the drums. So we kind of switched, and that worked out. Moving along, I went to high school with Tom, and we started this band and realized that we could play together. I started learning drums. He started learning guitar. He went to Rutgers, which was close to where I lived. So we would get together and just write these songs. And then it turns out that he met this dude named Jeff, who put on shows, hardcore shows in his basement. Pretty much legendary hardcore shows like At the Drive-In, Saves the Day, Hot Water Music, all came through and played his basement back in the day. And Jeff came over to my house and we wrote a song or two. And then, we kind of gathered members from there and played our first show. I believe it was a New Year's Eve show. I can't even remember what the first show was, but people dug it. And then we made a demo and people kind of liked the demo. And then we made a record called Waiting, and people, we got a good reception from that. And yeah, we never expected to, we kind of just started a band to play in said basement, because we wanted to play, with these bands. The basement?
Yeah. I mean, those bands through a 2021 lens, it's like, well, I can't picture them in a basement unless it was a huge basement.
If you could get 60 or 70 people in there, it would be like
amazing.
You'd be, nuts to butts, as they say.
Wow.
So just for frame for reference here, so this is like 97, 98 time frame? This is 98, 90, yeah, around 98, maybe 99, early 99.
So do you know that you're in this scene with all these bands coming up that are all going to make a splash? Because, I mean, all those bands you named ended up being, they're household names to us.
Well, they were, I know, like I said, we kind of just wanted to play with these bands, and we never thought that we would have any impact on anything. We kind of just literally just wanted to like be closer to these bands and be closer to this music and kind of help the scene, because Jersey had a scene at the time, a crazy scene. We wanted to kind of be a part of the scene and help the scene grow. And yeah, I never thought about going on tour. I never thought about, selling records or selling merchandise, anything like that, or being on a bus or being on tour with the Deftones. I never thought that was anywhere near possible.
And then it all happened.
Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Especially at that age, because you're a teenager, I assume, at that point, right?
I was 18 when we started the band, and I believe when we went on our first tour, I might have been 20.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and by first tour, I mean like a minivan and a sedan with no cell phones. So
amazing. Also interesting because we're up in Maine, where we grew up, and you're in Jersey, so not too far away. But we know the winters provide ample time to write and be creative because you're essentially trapped inside due to the weather.
Yeah.
So one thing is, you're right next to one of the biggest markets in the music industry, which is New York City. So even with that at play, there was really no connotation to like, we can actually make this a go. This is completely independent from knowing that New York City and LA are essentially the hubs for the music industry.
Well, I mean, our type of music, hardcore music, punk rock, it just wasn't a thing that you would think could become, whatever household name in whatever small circle that could be. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like it just wasn't, it was always the anti popularity. Like
100%.
Bands like mine and the bands that I liked back in the day were you kept them in your back pocket. You had to go find the record store in whatever town to buy the tape, because you couldn't buy it anywhere. You couldn't buy it at fucking Coconuts or whatever, Sam Goody, that wasn't a thing.
iTunes wasn't a thing then?
No, yeah. Not quite.
You mentioned Waiting, which is a great record. I mean, This Side of Brightness, Porcelain, are their top 10 Thursday songs for me all day long. Just great songs. And so that drops on Eyeball, which is, super independent label. Like, what size shows are you playing with when that comes out? Because I know that, you guys do kind of level up with your label after that, but I'm curious of that momentum build. You know, could you feel it after that, after Waiting drops?
Yeah, I mean, like there was, you know, we went from like being the first of four to being like the second or third of four in a basement show or an Elks Lodge, you know what I mean? And you know, I remember seeing like bands like the Get Up Kids headline like the Manville Elks Lodge, which was near me, which was, you know, a fairly decent sized room, and it actually had like a small PA and a person doing sound. So getting to kind of get on those bills, and our friends in Midtown were real big at the time in New Jersey, and they actually invited us up to play a song of our own on their gear during their set at a sold out show in Wayne Firehouse in New Jersey. So, you know, we had a lot of friends that were helping us out at the time too, because, you know, I think everybody, the scene was kind of there to bring people up, and we were just lucky enough to be one of those bands that people kind of liked and wanted to lift up a little bit.
It's cool that the scene did that and still does that, I think, to this day. I mean, we've been doing this now for a year and a half plus, and I've learned way more about that scene through Twan than I ever knew beforehand, and I've been friends with him forever. And just to kind of see more about it, then, you know, I'm learning a ton as far as this goes. Like, I knew you guys, obviously, but I'm talking like other bands that I just never heard of. I didn't know much about Rival Schools before this, and now I'm a fan. So, like, finding out that scene is so connected and so they want to help each other out. It's awesome. Like, that's the type of stuff that we love.
Yeah, man. And it was great because, like, while we were doing this, we would also see our friends start bands. You know what I mean? Like, watch it and be like, yo, can we get a show with you guys? It's like, oh, hell yeah. You know, they played us the tape and it was sick. So you just be like, oh yeah, hop on this bill, you know? So it was like seeing your friends also start bands and seeing this kind of art community happen, you know, was crazy. And I feel like New Jersey was like a hub for that.
It's cool. We've heard that actually on multiple coasts, like on the Southern California, like OC route, there's a bunch of bands that came up, Head PE, Zebrahead, all those guys, and they're like, oh yeah, dude, it's funny because we used to play clubs together, small, you know, pool parties and stuff, and then next thing you know, we're like on the same train in Europe somewhere, and it's like, holy shit, man, what's up? So that's cool, you know, everyone's supporting everyone up, you know, from the ground up.
Totally. There was a time when all of our bands were kind of at the peak, you know, like the Used and Thrice and Us and Hot Water Music, where and you Dashboard Confessional, you would see all these people on MTV, and it's like, well, I know them, because we all kind of came up. So you're seeing all your friends kind of do this crazy shit too, and it's weird because I think when I first started watching MTV, I didn't think any of the bands that were being played on MTV knew each other. You know what I mean? Like,
right. That's a great point.
Yeah, we all knew each other. It was crazy.